Hey warriors, and welcome back. I want to tell you about the death of a good man. He was my best friend, and I watched him systematically dismantle himself in the name of being the good guy. He operated like a human fountain, giving his time, his energy, and his forgiveness to anyone who asked. He sacrificed his own peace for people who wouldn't even recognize his name in a crowd. 3 years of this, and he was gone. Not dead, but erased. Then, I saw him again. The man who stood before me wasn't broken. He was forged. He was calm, sharp, and utterly ruthless. And he said something that became the thesis of my own life. The world never changes. I did. I stopped making myself so easy to break. That sentence lodged itself in my mind because I recognized it as a universal truth. It wasn't just his story, it was my story. And I guarantee it's yours too. Right now, as you listen to this, 2 distinct versions of you exist in parallel. The first version is the one you live as today, the diplomat, the explainer, the one who apologizes for having needs, tolerates blatant disrespect to keep the peace, and clings to the naive hope that people will one day wake up and see your worth. You bend yourself into knots, contorting your very soul to be understood, to be valued, to be loved. But a fundamental law of human psychology is at play here. What is freely and endlessly given is always perceived as worthless. The more you offer, the less you are seen. Then, there's the second version, the one lurking in the shadows of your consciousness. This version is silent, certain, and decisive. It doesn't argue, it doesn't beg, and it certainly doesn't chase. This version doesn't make grand exits or loud proclamations. It simply removes. Access is revoked without fanfare, without apology, and without a shred of guilt. You've been living as version 1 for far too long, and it's a slow-motion suicide. It has made you soft where you needed to be tactical, emotionally available where you should have been strategically detached. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Modern society has misinterpreted this as a call for cruelty. It's not. It is a profound insight into human nature. It's about control. It's about understanding that respect is born from the fear of consequences, not the hope of affection. It's about knowing precisely when to stop being the person who breaks for others. Today, we awaken version 2. The ruthless you. The one Machiavelli was writing for. The version that people sense on an instinctual level but can never, ever manipulate. There are 8 fundamental shifts in perception that separate these 2 versions of you. Each one will demand a sacrifice, a piece of the person you thought you were. It will feel like you're setting fire to your old identity. But if you have the courage to stay with me until the end, you will walk away unrecognizable. You will stop seeking peace from the outside world and begin to generate it from an unbreakable core within. You will finally learn the power of being untouchable. Because this world will break you unless you become ruthless. Before we begin, I want you to make a pact with yourself. Go to the comments and type, "I will not break again." Number 1. The Law of Asymmetrical Exchange. Your first transformation into a ruthless mind begins with a chilling realization. Your greatest weakness was never your heart. It was your strategic misallocation of it. You have been hemorrhaging vital energy into emotional black holes. People who feed on your light but emit none of their own. You kept giving, forgiving, and explaining, operating under the delusion that one more act of kindness would finally make them see your value. They never will. Why? Because this isn't a failure of their character. It's a success of their subconscious programming. In the unwritten laws of social dynamics, what is freely given is subconsciously devalued. This is the principle of perceived value. People do not respect resources that are abundant and easily accessible. They instinctively equate your boundless generosity not with strength, but with a desperate need for validation. And the moment someone senses your need, they own you. This is the genesis of weakness, not failure, but emotional dependence disguised as virtue. Machiavelli's observation that men are quicker to offend one who is loved than one who is feared is a masterclass in social psychology. The ungrateful exploit your goodness precisely because they have no fear of losing it. They know you will stay. They have data from your past actions proving you will forgive. They are certain that no matter how egregious their behavior, you will rationalize it with pathetic excuses like, "They're just going through a hard time." That isn't compassion. It is a cognitive bias known as self-delusion, a desperate attempt to maintain a flawed worldview. The raw truth is this: humans remember consequences, not kindness. They respect boundaries, not explanations. The more predictable your mercy, the more invisible you become. Every time you tolerated a snide remark, a broken promise, or a moment of disrespect, you were not being the bigger person. You were actively training them to see you as disposable. Every time you felt the need to explain your worth, you confirmed to them that it was still up for debate. This is the silent, brutal psychology of why the good get broken first. The world doesn't destroy you because you're kind. It destroys you because you confuse being kind with being harmless. The ungrateful are predators of the psyche. They don't hunt your body. They hunt your guilt. They are masters at making you feel bad for protecting yourself. They twist your empathy into a weapon and stab you with it, all while convincing you it's for your own good. So stop. Stop thinking you owe anyone your loyalty simply because of shared history. Your attention, your energy, and your care are privileges, not rights. They must be earned consistently through demonstrated respect. Everyone else should feel the sharp, cold edge of your absence. Detachment is your shield. Indifference is your revenge. Machiavelli knew this when he wrote, "Men are ungrateful, fickle, false, cowardly, and covetous." He wasn't being cynical. He was giving you a warning. Never give power to the ungrateful, because they will invariably use it to weaken you. You must unlearn the poisonous belief that being a good person will save you. Goodness without boundaries is a suicide pact. Ruthlessness, in this context, is not cruelty. It's a strategic correction. It's the moment you stop rewarding betrayal with access. When you let their calls go to voicemail, when you refuse to forgive the unforgivable, when you offer no explanation for your newfound silence, the ungrateful will panic. They will realize their emotional food source has been cut off. That is the precise moment the power dynamic shifts. You become the one who decides who gets to experience your warmth and who is left in the cold of irrelevance. This world belongs to those who conserve their energy like a weapon, not those who waste it like a wish. Every ounce of strength you pour into the wrong person is power stolen directly from your future self. Withdraw it, hoard it, rebuild your inner fortress. Let them wonder what happened to the person they thought they knew. If they ask, tell them that person froze to death when they finally saw the truth. Some people simply deserve your distance more than your devotion. Now, go to the comments and write this affirmation. My kindness has limits. Number 2, the alchemy of pain. Pain is the most brutally honest teacher you will ever have. It doesn't flatter your ego or entertain your excuses. It is a clarifying fire that exposes you, strips away your illusions, and burns everything weak inside you until only the unvarnished, authentic self remains. The chasm between the broken and the powerful is not measured by the amount of pain they have endured, but by their response to it. Weak people drown in their pain because they are trapped in a cognitive loop, endlessly searching for a sense of cosmic fairness that doesn't exist. They believe the world owes them healing, an apology, a closure that will never come. But the ruthless mind operates from a different paradigm. It understands a fundamental truth. Pain is currency. You can either spend it on the futile act of complaining, or you can invest it in the construction of an impenetrable self. Those who rise from the ashes of destruction are not lucky. They are strategic alchemists. They look at the raw data of betrayal, heartbreak, and failure, and instead of asking the powerless question, "Why me?" they ask the strategic question, "What is this teaching me about control?" Machiavelli asserted, "Never waste the opportunity offered by a good crisis." He understood that every moment of profound suffering is a gateway, an opportunity to evolve into someone untouchable. Pain is not a punishment. It is high-fidelity information. It is a diagnostic tool that pinpoints the exact location of your vulnerabilities. Every betrayal shows you where you trusted too easily. Every rejection reveals where you mistakenly placed your sense of worth. Every loss exposes the comforting lie of permanence. When you begin to view pain through this strategic lens, it ceases to be a wound and becomes a weapon. You start using it to sharpen your perception instead of allowing it to dull your spirit. The dark psychology of transformation lies in this act of transmutation, converting raw suffering into calculated strategy. Most people cry to feel better. The strong reflect to become stronger. When they are hurt, they don't chase closure from their aggressors. They create power from the wreckage. They study their enemies with cold objectivity instead of hating them with hot passion. They analyze their own mistakes with brutal honesty instead of escaping into delusion. They metabolize every heartbreak into emotional discipline, every disappointment into laser-like focus. This is the very essence of Machiavellian resilience, to use the world's inherent cruelty as fuel, not as chains. Pain is the forge where dominance is born. When life breaks you, it's not an attack, it's a revelation. It's showing you who you are without your social masks and convenient fictions. Stop running from it. Sit with the fire. Feel every ounce of it. Because once you have survived your own internal inferno, no one can ever again control you with the threat of a lesser flame. The moment you stop fearing pain, you become neurologically unpredictable. And in the theater of social dynamics, unpredictability is power. When others attempt to manipulate you through guilt, shame, or the threat of rejection, their tactics become useless. You have already faced far worse inside yourself and survived. Machiavelli believed that a wise man learns more from misfortune than from comfort. This is because pain activates a primal state of heightened awareness. It forces evolution. It silences illusion. You begin to see people for who they demonstrably are, not who you wished they would be. You start prioritizing cold logic over fleeting emotion. The more you endure and integrate, the less reactive you become. You move through the world with the quiet, dangerous energy of someone who has already been through the fire and emerged not just alive, but more focused. That energy commands a unique form of respect because it feels lethal. People sense it when you walk into a room. the unmistakable aura of someone who has turned every wound into wisdom. You no longer carry your scars with shame. You wear them as armor. Your silence becomes heavy with meaning. Your gaze becomes steady and unnerving. That is when you know you have crossed over from being a victim of your pain to being a master of its power. The next time life hurts you, do not curse it. Study it. Ask yourself, what strategic advantage is hidden within this agony? Because every moment of suffering contains the seed of dominance, if you are ruthless enough to plant it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My pain builds power. Number 3, the assassination of approval. The ravenous hunger to be understood is the psychological trap that keeps powerful minds chained to mediocrity. You continuously explain yourself, broadcasting your intentions, your goodness, and your truth, hoping that the world will finally see you clearly. But here is the brutal reality. Most people have no interest in understanding you. They are only interested in categorizing you. They don't listen to comprehend. They listen to find a weakness, a label, a box to put you in. The more you explain, the more data you are feeding their manipulative machine. In the world of dark psychology, understanding is a synonym for control. When people know your motives, your fears, and your desires, they know exactly which levers to pull to make you dance. This is why the ruthless cultivate silence and ambiguity. They let others guess, project, and assume, and in that self-created fog of confusion, they remain untouchable. Machiavelli wrote, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. And to command, you must never over-explain." The act of explaining is inherently a defensive posture. It reveals that you are still seeking validation from an external source. True power never justifies itself. It simply is. The most intimidating individuals are those who offer no explanation for their actions, their feelings, or their sudden disappearance. Their silence creates a psychological tension, a vacuum. And that vacuum pulls in respect and fear in equal measure. The weak beg to be seen. The strong choose to be misunderstood. You must internalize this principle. When you cease defending yourself, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is fear's twin brother. People cannot control what they cannot read. This is why the most effective rulers, leaders, and strategists throughout history mastered the art of ambiguity. They spoke less than they knew and acted more than they explained. You must learn to do the same. Every time you rush to clarify your intentions, you are handing over the blueprint to your emotional architecture. You are teaching others how to disarm you. The danger of transparency is that it invites dissection, and dissection always kills the magic of power. As Machiavelli noted, the wise man does at once what the fool does finally. The wise stop justifying themselves immediately, while the fool keeps talking until his soul is laid bare and his weaknesses are exposed. You owe no one a report on your choices. You do not owe an explanation for your distance, your silence, your standards, or your evolution. Let them misunderstand. Let them assume you've become cold, arrogant, or detached. Every false label they project onto you becomes another layer of your armor. The moment you stop trying to correct their narrative, you reclaim absolute control. Because control lives not in expression, but in restraint. Silence is not weakness. It is weaponized composure. It makes others deeply nervous because they cannot chart your next move, and this uncertainty forces them to be cautious. That is psychological dominance. Think of the most powerful people you've ever encountered. They were rarely loud. They were composed. Their presence demanded attention not because they shouted for it, but because they had no need to. Every word they didn't say resonated with more authority than 1,000 justifications. You must cultivate that kind of presence. Become a mystery no one can fully solve. A storm that gives no warning. When someone tries to provoke you, let your silence suffocate their ego. When someone misjudges you, let them marinate in their own flawed assumptions. Your truth is your weapon. Do not waste it proving your innocence to a jury that has already passed its sentence. Those who need you to be understood do not deserve you. Those who truly value you will never require an explanation. Power is not about convincing others of your worth. It is about becoming so fundamentally self-assured that their confusion becomes irrelevant noise. Once you kill the need to be understood, you finally begin to understand yourself. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks power. Number 4. The inviolate self. Begging for attention, for love, or for closure is the process by which powerful individuals become slaves. The more you chase what is actively walking away from you, the smaller and more pathetic you appear in the eyes of those who never intended to value you in the first place. This triggers a powerful cognitive bias in them known as contempt. Detachment is not coldness. It is the highest form of emotional control. It is the cultivated skill of walking away from any person, situation, or entity that threatens your self-respect, regardless of how much you once wanted it. Most people are neurologically wired to mistake attachment for loyalty, but they are polar opposites. Loyalty is an act of strength, a conscious choice. Attachment is a symptom of dependence, an unconscious need. The world has conditioned you to believe that fighting for someone is proof of your care. But in the cold calculus of dark psychology, the one who chases always, without exception, loses power. The very act of begging, whether for time, affection, or a simple explanation, broadcasts a signal of profound weakness. And weakness, in the social jungle, is an open invitation for exploitation. Machiavelli wrote, "The one who is not master of himself cannot be master of others." This is the foundational principle. When your emotions rule you, you are laughably easy to control. The ruthless mind detaches not because it lacks emotion, but because it refuses to be owned by it. When someone pulls away, the ruthless mind doesn't argue or demand an explanation. It observes and recalibrates. When someone disrespects them, it doesn't plead for better treatment. It vanishes. Silence becomes its sword. Absence becomes its message. In a world built on a scaffold of emotional manipulation, detachment is the ultimate act of rebellion. It terrifies manipulators because it starves them of their primary power source, your reaction. Once you stop reacting, you become unreadable. And when you're unreadable, you become feared. The secret weapon of the truly powerful is not rage. It is indifference. Indifference burns colder and more deeply than hate, and its psychological impact lasts longer than love. When people can no longer predict how you will respond, they lose their perceived control over your mind. That is the precise moment your internal energy begins to shift. You cease to be the one who waits for the phone to ring and become the one who decides if the call is even worth answering. The very people who once ignored you will start to notice your silence, because silence from a once reactive person is louder and more unsettling than any confrontation. Detachment grants you a strange and potent kind of authority. The authority to walk away from chaos with your peace completely intact. Machiavelli believed that control over one's emotions was the bedrock of any successful ruler. because those who cannot detach are doomed to be controlled by those who can. As he astutely observed, men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. If you can master your own attachments, you will control both forces in others. The ruthless understand that not everyone deserves access to their inner world, not every emotion deserves to be expressed, and not every relationship deserves a resurrection. You must learn to withdraw your energy without an announcement, to close doors quietly, firmly, and permanently, to make your distance feel like a logical, unavoidable consequence, a form of punishment so subtle it feels like fate. That is psychological warfare at its most elegant. The more you detach, the more power you reclaim. You begin to have a profound realization. Peace is not found in external connection. It is found in internal control. True strength is the ability to love someone deeply, yet possess the internal fortitude to walk away the second they threaten your self-respect. Detachment does not mean you don't care. It means you care correctly about yourself first and foremost, because when you stop begging, you stop bleeding. And when you stop bleeding, no one can feed on you again. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose peace over people. Number 5, the armor of boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible fortifications that separate a life of power from a life of chaos. Without them, your existence becomes an open territory, a lawless frontier where anyone can enter, plunder what they want, and leave you emotionally desolate. You have been systematically conditioned to believe that saying no is an act of selfishness, that setting a limit makes you unkind. But in the brutal arena of human dynamics, the absence of boundaries is the ultimate act of self-betrayal. Every time you tolerate a disrespectful comment to avoid confrontation, every time you forgive a betrayal without imposing a meaningful consequence, every time you allow people to cross your lines to keep the peace, you are not being peaceful. You are surrendering a piece of your sovereignty. Weak minds confuse this tolerance with strength. The ruthless mind knows better. It understands a fundamental law of nature. A heart without armor is a target. Niccolò Machiavelli wrote, "A prince who is not wise himself cannot be well advised." The subtext is profound. If you cannot guard your own psychological state, no one else will. The world does not honor radical openness, it exploits it. The same people who smile at your kindness today will use your forgiveness as a weapon against you tomorrow. This is not a cynical worldview. It is a realistic assessment of unchecked human desire. People will always, inevitably, test the limits that you refuse to enforce. Boundaries are not walls designed to keep others out. They are gates that you control, protecting what is sacred within you. They are not an act of cruelty. They are an act of clarity. And clarity is what terrifies manipulators because it removes all their leverage. In the chessboard of dark psychology, boundaries are offensive weapons of control. The person who calmly and consistently enforces their boundaries is the one who dictates the terms of every single relationship. When you learn to say no without the tremor of guilt in your voice, you communicate a primal form of dominance. When you immediately and permanently cut off access after a betrayal, you send an unmistakable message that your worth is non-negotiable. The powerful do not waste time arguing about respect. They demonstrate its price through distance and silence. Forgiveness without consequences is not grace, it is submission. Mercy without a clear structure does not create peace, it invites chaos. The moment you stop rewarding bad behavior with your continued presence, you begin to command a chilling respect from those who once saw you as a doormat. The fearful will label this arrogance. The weak will call it ego, but the wise will recognize it for what it is, self-command. Machiavelli also noted, "He who allows himself to be deceived is deserving of deception." This is a harsh truth. You teach people precisely how to treat you by the behavior you tolerate. The moment you begin to protect your time, your energy, and your peace like a fortress, a fascinating thing happens. The parasites vanish. The emotional vampires retreat. The noise fades. And in that newfound silence, you finally see who truly values you. Those who respect your rules instead of resenting them. Boundaries are a filtration system for the soul. They attract quality and repel corruption. They separate the loyal from the opportunistic, the genuine from the manipulative. They make your presence feel earned, not merely available. To live without boundaries is to live without dignity. To live with them is to command your world with a quiet, unshakable authority. The ruthless know that kindness without a strategic defense system is an invitation for destruction. So they build their walls, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Because the ultimate goal is not to be liked, it is to be respected. Remember, every boundary you set is a declaration of power that states, "This is where my peace begins and your influence ends." Those who truly value you will never ask you to lower your armor. They will honor it and stand outside its walls with respect. Now, I want you to go to the comments and type this affirmation: "My boundaries protect me."